Welcome to highlights of stage 2 of Tirreno-Adriatico onto the white roads from Camaiore to San Gimignano, 206 kilometres. And as you can see, a stage of two halves. A sprint at Pomerance, a climb, and then a rolling parkour before leading into the white roads. Smiles all round. Mathieu van der Poel looking good. Another one of the pre-race favourites, Isaac Del Toro, smiling there. Filippo Ganna in the blue jersey. They rolled out under cloudy skies, but it was a relatively warm day. Filippo Ganna looking relatively relaxed. Magnus Sheffield there in the white jersey as well. But the scene was certainly set. It was going to be a fast start to the race. The flag was dropped and a breakaway soon formed. The first rider to attack was Tarozzi of Bardiani CSF. And they soon opened up a lead. 4 riders going clear. Boo also there from Caja Rural. Iaki from Solution Tech, Nippo and Sevilla just at the back there in the red shorts of Polti Visit Malta. The bunch meanwhile were being led by the joint ranks of Ineos Grenadiers and Visma Leasebike. Steven Kruijswijk doing a lot of the riding early on. All smiles from Julien Alaphilippe, perhaps looking forward to the Starato later on. All smiles as well from the Ineos Grenadiers. Great ride in the time trial for the Dutchman, of course. Another Dutchman who almost had a bit of a mishap on one of the early climbs with Mathieu van der Poel, but managed to launch his bike to the right and settle the problem. Iaki then opened his sprint up early at the hotspot at Pomerance, taking a 3-second time bonus, some euros, and of course some points towards the Maglia Ciclamino. Job done for him. The gap at this point was 1 minute and 49 from the peloton. The rain then started to fall, making some of the corners a little bit tricky and adding some stress to proceedings. It was Diego Pablo Sevilla of Polti Visit Malta who took the first of the King of the Mountains. A valiant effort from Bo to finish in second place, emptying the tank in the process. And Sevilla then went clear on his own, and the remnants of the breakaway by now are a few seconds back, but they only had 39 seconds on the peloton with 55 Ks to go. Sevilla then taking maximum points at the Castel Nuovo. Meanwhile, safely in the peloton was Filippo Ganna, looking good, but then with just under 39 kilometres to go, our 4-man breakaway had been caught, and it was Gruppo Compatto. Sketchy scenes on the run-in. A couple of riders drifting wide there. That was a sketchy moment as San Gimignano loomed. The rain then started to fall. Van der Poel wiping the moisture from his glasses as we entered the final 11 kilometres. There was a crash though. It was Martin Marcellucci who went off the road. Thankfully, he was unharmed, but it was a real shock for the Italian. At one point, Filippo Ganna seemed to lose his teammates as we approached the Starato, but the first man on it was Julien Alaphilippe, accelerating on the loose but damp surface, and Mathieu van der Poel, absolutely in his element, started to open up a gap on the riders behind. As he powered up the climb, Matteo Jorgensen there, also in the mix, Pellizzari in fourth wheel, and Isaac Del Toro. Then, on a meandering right-hander, the bike of Jorgensen washed out, and he was left to fall onto the Starato, opening up the gap for Mathieu van der Poel. But I tell you what, there was a real battle behind. Pellizzari joining forces with Isaac Del Toro. Meanwhile, Filippo Ganna was falling back and was around a minute behind at this stage. There was an alarm call on that right-hander. Mathieu van der Poel having to dab on a couple of occasions, losing momentum. Isaac Del Toro sensing there was a chance to go clear and stamping on the pedals himself. Unfortunately, Thymen Arensman coming to grief on the same right-hander that almost took out Mathieu van der Poel. Other riders also falling in the slippery conditions. And with 3 Ks to go, our 3 riders out in front had a 54-second lead on Filippo Ganna and a 25-second lead on various groups. On Group 2 on the road, 1 K to go, Pellizzari locked onto the wheel of Mathieu van der Poel, and a willingness to drive home from Isaac Del Toro, eyeing moving into the lead of this race. As the slope started to steepen, the gap started to come down. The bunch with Buitrago on the front started to eat into the lead, and just coming in to the streets of San Gimignano, the gap was down to 11 seconds with 400 metres to go. The first rider to open up on the left-hand side was Giulio Pellizzari of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. He opened up a gap initially, but then seated in a chaotic difficult sprint with Mathieu van der Poel, the slippery surface offering little purchase, but ultimately van der Poel taking the win ahead of a fast finishing Isaac del Toro with Pellizzari in third. And over a minute down was Filippo Ganna, who was to lose the lead. An exciting finale in San Gimignano, but ultimately it was the favourite Mathieu van der Poel who took the win ahead of Isaac del Toro with Giulio Pellizzari in third and Johansson in fourth. So all smiles after drawing a blank in last year's Tirreno-Adriatico, but Isaac del Toro moving into the lead of Tirreno-Adriatico, 3 seconds ahead of Pellizzari, 13 seconds ahead of Sheffield. Smiles all round for the Mexican. Mathieu van der Poel moving into the lead of the King of the Mountains after scoring 5 points at the finish. So Van der Poel in green heading into stage 3. Isaac del Toro also in white, but it will be Pellizzari who wears it for the following stage. So smiles all round from the battling Mexican. What a talent he is. Filippo Ganna stays in the lead of the Maglia Ciclamino on countback. And a smile from him. More stages though still to come on this Tirreno-Adriatico.